What about now? Can you hear me out there? They said just music. Hold on, let me see. It might be probably the music. What about right now? Can you hear me? She says still just music. So trying to confirm, she said, I hear some people, of course, saying yes, that they can hear me, of course, on TikTok. I'm trying to confirm whether or not you guys can hear me out there on Facebook and also YouTube. Just trying to get a little confirmation on that end. Can you guys hear me on Facebook or YouTube? Let's see, I'm getting confirmation from she said on TikTok, not on Facebook. Well, I switched the mic. I don't know what's going. She said now I can hear you. Jadisha, can you double check and see whether or not you can hear me loud and clear on Facebook? Sunshine just said that she can hear me out there on YouTube. So if Sunshine can hear me, better believe you better hear me on Facebook. I don't know what that was about. For some strange reason, technology isn't always 100%. But she did say that she can hear me, so I am excited about that. Welcome in for everyone that's joining in today. We are on Chapter C of Learning the ABCs of a Man. Thank you so much, of course, for those that are joining in right now. I'm going to make sure that I have my comments set so I can see any comments that are coming in, both, of course, from Facebook or even YouTube. I see, let's see, Determined, you're in, welcome in. Also, Vicky Nera, welcome in, you guys. Thank you so much, of course, for showing your support. We are on Chapter C of Learning the ABCs of a Man. This is called Craving the Forbidden Fruit. So we are going to dissect, jump right on into this. But of course, just want to share with you guys, if you're not, of course, following me, just make sure, of course, that you're following me on Facebook, also on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. What else? Oh, I'm also on Threads and X, which was formerly Twitter. So if you are connected to any of those apps, make sure that you follow me. I would definitely appreciate the support. Like, follow, share, tell a friend that we are live today on Sunday. Just some rules for you guys to be aware of. It's very simple, nothing too complicated. Of course, this podcast is for 18 years and up because we are going to be talking about mature themes. So if you're not 18, you want to make sure that you come right off of this social media platform. But for everyone else, definitely we are going to get rolling with the topics. Be respectful at all times. We just want to make sure that everyone is having a great time while we are having the discussions when we're reviewing the particular chapter. Keep it engaging. Keep it positive. Write comments. I can see comments. I can also see comments out there on TikTok. At some point, we're going to have all this integrated where I just stream from one platform instead of two. TikTok is giving me just a little bit of issues, but we're going to figure it out. But for those of you guys that are on TikTok right now, show me some love, give me some likes, give me some hearts. I want to know exactly where you guys are dialing in from. I am out here in the West Coast in Los Angeles, California. Of course, I am your favorite author, Alexander Emmanuel. We're definitely going to have an amazing time with you guys throughout this entire, maybe like 30 minutes or so when we complete this entire podcast. I'm going to go back. Sunshine. Okay, Sunshine said that she can hear me, so we are good on that end. So let's see, we're just going in and playing just a little soft little music for you guys, warming you up really quick. You want to make sure that you are tuning in. Let me know where you are dialed in from on the West Coast, Central, on the East Coast. I know that we have some listeners that are out there in Florida. I got one from Columbus, Ohio. So thank you, of course, so much for joining in. This is an exciting time. I wrote this book over a year ago and released it in April. So this is something that I'm extremely excited about at this time. It is called Learning the ABCs of a Man. Hopefully everyone can be able to see it. I'm going to put myself back on the screen so everyone can at least. This is called Learning the ABCs of a Man. There's 26 chapters, just like the alphabet. Every single chapter, there is a story, whether it's something personal, nonfiction, fiction. I listen to so many stories, personal stories from myself, friends, and family. So these are things that I have put into this book. It's very thought provoking, it's bold, it's unfiltered, it's discovering why some men do what they do. Now, I'm quite sure that most of you guys probably have stories about your own personal partner, spouse. I have a lot of stories, I can tell you, and I have written it in this book. Last week, we went over bold and bisexual, so that was an interesting topic for everyone. I can definitely say that. It was something that was quite riveting. I didn't call any names. That's one thing that I don't do for any of my personal experiences. I always keep it undisclosed. You never have to worry about me exposing, because I am not the DL whisperer. I am none of those. I am an author that is just really passionate about what I do, and I just want to share that with the world. For those of you guys that are tuning in, thank you so much, of course, for your support. It truly means a lot as we continue to build this community. So I want to pop it off with one question. These are things that I want you guys to have fun, engage. If I post this question, I want to see it in the comments, so that way we're able to discuss exactly what I just asked. Because I want to know from your perspective. It's not just from my perspective, I'm also learning from you. So this is a question that I am going to pose right now for everyone at this moment. It is, let me make sure that I post it up so everyone can see it. And I want you to drop your comments in the chat. Drop your comments in the chat. Want to know exactly why do people always want what they can't have? So type your comments, drop it in the chat. I want to know, I want to read these comments. If you're tuning in on Facebook or also YouTube, you can go ahead and write your comments. I will be able to see it on my end. But the question that is on everyone's mind, and actually I got this question from someone that submitted it for today's show, is why do people always want what they can't have? So let me know in the comments on TikTok. I want to be able to read and see your comments because I can see them live. Anyone that's joining on Facebook or also YouTube, you have the opportunity to drop your comments and I will be able to see them as well. So your question is, why do people always want what they can't have? Now, I don't know what you're sipping on, but whatever that you are sipping on, I hope that you are drinking responsibly. I'm sipping once again on grape juice. Not going to tell you what type of grape juice, but it's grape juice. That's all we know for right now. So for those of you guys that are just joining in, thank you so much, of course, for tuning in. Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you are streaming from around the world. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. Let's see. I got a comment that was just posted. They said, because why not? What do you mean, why not? There are certain rules, of course, that you can't cross, I should say, when you are single. Even when you're in a relationship, you should not ever cross that specific line. I had to learn it the hard way on my end. But when we talk about craving, wanting something that's not rooted in your garden, it's rooted in someone else's garden, you have to respect those boundaries. Too many times I've seen relationships where people are in marriages or they're just a couple, and you have someone on the outside that's looking in, just waiting just to strike, to have the opportunity to either slide in someone's DMs or even just confront them in person. So you have to be extremely careful with the people that you surround yourself in your inner circle, because you never know if they're there to fully support you or they're just there to scope out your man or your woman. So that is important. So that was interesting, because why not? It is fun. At least I could say it was fun. It is not fun now. I've learned from my from my mistakes in the past, but it's the adrenaline, I could say, on my end that happened when I was in a certain entanglement at this point. But it is quite interesting. I should say everyone has their own way of doing things. I just want to make sure that whatever that you guys are doing on your end, whatever decision that you do make, that you always do it carefully. You think about your decisions before acting impulsively. That way it doesn't hurt you or anyone else. I am reading a comment that says, often what we're really seeking is the feeling we imagine it will give us, whether that's love, status, excitement, security, or even fulfillment. That is absolutely amazing to hear. And I think a lot of people actually go through that. They want to be able to feel some type of love, have a status above maybe others, that excitement, maybe that security. But how I look at it, in my own personal opinion, if you're a side order, you're a side order. You're a side order of fries. You will never be the main entree. And that's just facts. If someone's married, they're not going to replace you. And if that's the case, and if they actually do that, if they could do that with you, what's stopping them from doing it with someone else, but with you in the picture? So those are things, of course, that you have to think about. So I appreciate, of course, your comments that you guys are rolling in here right now. Thank you so much for everyone that is joining in. I see a lot of people that are joining in right now on TikTok. Show me that you are here. Give me some love. Give me some likes. That's the only way that I'm going to, of course, know. We are currently right now at 2.2K likes. So let's go ahead and increase that to maybe 3. So go ahead and use your fingers, warm up your fingers, and let's get those likes going on TikTok. For those of you guys that are on Facebook or also on YouTube, drop a comment, like, follow, and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend that, hey, we are live with Learning the ABCs of a Man. We're getting ready to dissect Chapter C, which is Craving the Forbidden Fruit. If you guys are just joining in, if you've not picked up or purchased a copy of my book, this is called Learning the ABCs of a Man, Volume 1. So there are collective series that are going to be coming out, but this is Volume 1. This is just the first start. If you have not received or gotten your copy, it is available on Amazon, both the hard copy, also the paperback, as well as the e-Kindle electronic version. So grab your copy. It is available right now on Amazon.com. So I've gotten a lot of, at least just that one response that I got for that comment, because I really love that. So Sunshine, great job on being able to give me that specific question. It was excellent. Before we dive into Craving the Forbidden Fruit, some of you guys already purchased the book. I know that because you've actually told me that you purchased it and you've been reading, of course, some of the chapters. But we are going to go into this with no hold bar on this end. Now that we've been able to wrap up the question on this end, I'm just going to add myself back into the mix. Hopefully everybody will be able to on this end. And of course, if you're just joining in, if you have not followed me yet, please make sure, of course, that you go ahead and do that. I'm available on a lot of different platforms. Like, share, and subscribe. And also visit www. I think I said that right. It's the grape juice. Let me take a little sip. Hold on. We're going to make this a lot more easier. www.alexanderemmanuel.com. There's a lot of things, of course, that you guys are going to get into, not only just reading about the book, but also this cool merchandise that you see in the background. That's also available for you. We have the readers collection as well as each individual chapter collection. Those are available for you guys to purchase on the website immediately. So when you do have an opportunity, you purchase one, let me know. I would love to give you guys a shout out on all of my social media platforms. Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe at www.alexanderemmanuel.com. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to go ahead and start doing the drum roll for us to dive into Craving the Forbidden Fruit.
Warning. You're alive with your favorite author, Alexander Emmanuel.
Where the truth has no filter.
So turn the conversation all the way up.
My words struck chords and he noticed. Funny how sometimes the smallest acts of protection can spark the largest flames of fascination. There had been many moments when I'd hovered on the edge of courage, ready to slide into his inbox with something that would catch his interest, something playful, unexpected, and tempting enough to start what I imagined could be a beautiful connection, or, at the very least, an unforgettable one. His name, Jack. And while I would eventually discover he had a beanstalk worthy of its own fairy tale, we're not quite there yet. So stay focused, reader, because this story is just beginning to rise.
Hopefully your name is not Jack. Discovered that he had a beanstalk that was very worthy of climbing, perhaps even its own fairy tale. That is chapter C, Craving the Forbidden Fruit. So we're gonna jump into this with everyone. Hopefully you guys can hear me loud and clear. If you can hear me loud and clear out there in TikTok, go ahead and show me some likes. I wanna make sure that you guys can hear me. And I don't see any likes happening, so I definitely want to make sure that you guys are good before I start reading this. I think, Sunshine, on your end, you can still hear me loud and clear. So we want to get into this chapter. Boy, boy, boy. I think I'm going to need to probably put some sound effects on in the event, of course, that there is any words that I won't necessarily read out loud because I don't want to get flagged and dinged on TikTok. I might probably do a little sound effect. Okay? It might probably go something like that. So that'll be my sound effect, my save. For TikTok, since we're not integrated just fully 100% yet, we will have to do Chapter C, Craving the Forbidden Fruits. Desire doesn't justify biting the forbidden fruits, knowing he's rooted to another garden. Countless nights I lay wide awake, restless with the craving I knew I had no business feeding. It wasn't confusion or miscommunication. No, this wasn't about words. This was about wanting, raw, unapologetic desire for someone I should have never fantasize about in such a lustful manner. And yet, I found myself inching closer, seduced by what wasn't mine to have, enticed by the thrill of touching something sacred with unclean hands. I wasn't confused about what this was. Desire doesn't justify biting the forbidden fruit, knowing he's rooted to another garden. Still, temptation has a way of disguising itself as curiosity, as connection, as something harmless enough to linger in. He wasn't available, and I respected myself enough to know what should have been the end of it. But restraint doesn't silence craving, it sharpens it. Married with 5 children, should have sent anyone running for the hills. Yet his glances weren't accidental, and his silences said more than any confession could. Every stolen moment, every low-tone conversation held the weight of restraint, barely hanging on by a thread. I knew better. But still, I imagined the weight of him pressed against me, the grip of his hands exploring territory uncharted yet destined. His mouth on my neck, tasting rebellion, my legs parted by impulse, not because I was lonely, not because I was lost, but because I was drawn to danger, wrapped in human flesh. Sometimes what's off limits speaks the loudest, and in his silence, I heard everything. What do you do when temptation feels like destiny disguised as a mistake? When your body leans into betrayal and your conscience is too stunned to stop it? That's the ache I carry. Not for love, but for the high of having what I should have never touched. I immersed in the stronghold of my Egyptian cotton bed. I lay wrapped tightly in the comfort of silence and stillness, unwilling to rise and face whatever plans the day may have had for me. It was Sunday, slow, aimless, and dripping with the kind of freedom that lets you breathe deeper. I let myself sink into it just a few more minutes. As the clock lazily passed the quarter mark after 8 a.m., with one hand buried beneath the warmth of the sheets, the other danced across the screen of my phone, diving into the endless reel of the digital world. Social media served its unusual cocktail of comedy, chaos, and curiosity. I laughed at the strangers' antics, smirked at trending topics, and scrolled as if my fingertip was enchanted, hunting, searching for something I didn't even know I was missing. Then came the alert, a subtle ping that sent a jolt through the quiet. My eyes, sharp, even in half asleep, darted to the corner of the screen. A direct message. I hovered. Was it another recycled scam or the admiration of a secret onlooker? Someone too afraid to be seen, yet too curious to stay away. With a tap, I opened it, and there he was, the same man whose profile had caught my eyes days ago, unprovoked, uninvited. He had appeared in my timeline like a whispered temptation. I remember thinking he was attractive in a way that felt both familiar and forbidden. And now, here he was appearing again. Maybe it was coincidence. Maybe it was fate. Or maybe the universe was reminding me that sometimes when you least expect it, what you're drawn to starts to pull back boldly, intentionally, and unapologetically. Because desire never knocks. It just slides into your DMs, smooth as silk, waiting to be unwrapped. Well, I wasted no time. I unwrapped that message with the same eager excitement one might have when rolling a condom down the pipeline of curiosity, anticipating the pleasure of what was to come before ever knowing what it truly was. The mere idea of discovering what he said stirred something within me. It wasn't just about the message, it was the thrill, the tease, the unknown dancing just on the edge of a digital connection. When I opened it, I was met not with flirtation, but appreciation, a simple gesture of thanks. He was acknowledging the defense I'd so passionately delivered days earlier, a verbal shield I raised in honor of his cousin, who had become the target of cruel, unnecessary comments after posting a radiant photo in full carnival regalia. It was art, culture, celebration. And yet people still chose judgment over joy. It's carnival, baby, I had commented. A time when flesh meets freedom and rhythm kisses rebellion in the streets of the Caribbean. My words struck chords and he noticed. Funny how sometimes the smallest acts of protection can spark the largest flames of fascination. There had been many moments when I'd hover on the edge of courage, ready to slide into his inbox with something that would catch his interest, something playful, unexpected, and tempting enough to start what I imagine could be a beautiful connection, or at the very least, an unforgettable one. His name, Jack. And while I would eventually discover he had a beanstalk worthy of its own fairy tale, we're not quite there yet. So stay focused, reader, because this story is just beginning to rise. I didn't hesitate. I dove headfirst into the trench of this unexpected, exhilarating emotion. Anxious, electric, and ready to pour itself into every listening decibel he offered. From the start, there was something familiar in his presence, like a soul I'd met in another lifetime, a love resurrected through signals and sound waves. Anytime we spoke on the phone, it felt like time folded itself, the comfort, immediate, the laughter, effortless, and the sexual tension, so thick it wrapped itself around me like silk, smooth, seductive, and impossible to ignore. He had this quiet charm, mild-mannered, nerdy even, with a soft appeal of intellect tucked behind glasses and an unassuming smile. But then there was his alter ego, the Leo, the lion, a man who with the tilt of a baseball cap and a fitted shirt transformed into raw magnetism. The sex appeal didn't walk into a room, it announced itself. I remember one night vividly, I curled up in bed, waiting for the next episode of my favorite show to start, sipping on a panty ripper, Crujan coconut rum laced with lemonade. When my phone lit up with a video message, it was him. There he stood, recording himself in the mirror of one of Houston's hottest nightclubs. The beat of the music bled through the speakers as he stared at his reflection, one hand gripping the phone, the other sliding down to pull out Jack's beanstalk. Slowly, deliberately, my breath caught. His hips began to move in time with the bass slow, controlled, and dripping in seduction. He pumped with intention, every inch of him a promise waiting to be fulfilled. I felt myself tighten just watching, the hunger inside me clawing to be fed. I wasn't celibate, but I was selective. And he was temptation personified. My fingers trailed along my curves as I imagined what it would feel like to have him dive into the abyss he unknowingly unlocked. My mouth parted, moaning against the rim of my glass as I licked my fingers, tasting my ache, the edges of desire burning into the rush of rum and citrus. He stared into the mirror, never breaking eye contact with himself as he bit his lip. Then with one final thrust of pleasure, he released. A splash of lemonade squirted across the mirror as if scripted by the gods of lust themselves. Then that damn smirk, the video ended, and there I lay, wet, breathless, and completely undone. Still quivering from a man who hadn't even touched me. Yet, when was the last time you were single and approached by someone whose unexpected baggage overloaded your flights of passion? Have you ever found yourself drawn to or entangled in a situationship with someone you couldn't love? You enough to respect your boundaries, all while knowing he wasn't even available? If a whole family wasn't enough to steer you in the wrong direction, then maybe it was the adrenaline, the rush of having what you had no business touching that kept you feathered. But excitement doesn't excuse the chaos of home wrecking, nor does it validate the torment of waiting for him to choose you over his girlfriend or his wife. He knows the scene he's directing. Different cast, same tired script. Boundaries exist for a reason, to separate what should never be pursued in the heat of the moment, in the fleeting thrill of sexual excitement, in the illusion with a few seconds of rocking your boat could mean something more. But when you sink into the desperation of wanting commitment from a man who was never available to begin with, what's left? Ladies, especially my ladies, plant your seeds where they matter. Cultivate your desires and ambitions in soil that will yield fruit worth harvesting. Water what feeds your spirit, not what drains your worth. Because no matter how hungry you are, desire doesn't justify biting into forbidden fruits, especially when he's already rooted in someone else's garden. That was chapter C, Craving the Forbidden Fruits. Give me a second while I go ahead and sip on my my grape juice. Hopefully that was exciting for some of you guys. Let me see if I got a comment out there on Facebook or on YouTube on that end. Yes, we talk about seeing things that look amazing that you think it's going to be greener on the other side, but in reality, it might not be. Especially if they're taken. You got a girlfriend, if they're married, that's off limits, completely off limits. A lot of things that we definitely should not be crossing because it does cause a lot of chaos, turns homes completely upside down. And we don't want that to happen to anyone. That is a feeling, of course, that we don't ever want for any of you guys to experience. So I want to do a little Q&A session. Write your questions in the chat. I want to know, based on you listening to this chapter that I just read, and if you even read it for yourself, what questions do you have that you want to ask me right at this moment that I'll be able to take one or two questions in order for me to be able to deliver something that is worthwhile for you to be inspired or to grow based on testimonies that maybe could be fiction, maybe it could be nonfiction. I'll leave it up to you. You guys let me know. Out there on TikTok, go ahead and write your comments in the chat, or if you're out there on Facebook or also YouTube, you can also comment. I will be able to see your question on your end based on exactly what you would like to know. Give you guys about maybe 60 seconds on that end so that you can ask me this or a question relating to what I just read in chapter C, Craving the Forbidden Fruit. So let's see if we do have a question that's out there from anyone. For those of you guys that are also joining in, thank you so much, of course, for supporting my podcast. We are on chapter C, definitely are going to have a lot more coming up. Let's see, I got a question out there. Have you got a taste of the forbidden fruits or attempted to have the the whole fruit? That was a very personal question, but I feel that I have an opportunity, since we're having a discussion where we dissected the chapter, right? Back in my allegedly Lori Harvey season, when I was single, yes, I did taste a forbidden fruits or two, I think. Can't remember. You know, that the old person who I was back then, way back then. I don't know who that person is. The one that had long locks. Him. He definitely did taste a forbidden fruits. I'm not going to call any names whatsoever at all. Might be someone in the U.S., might be someone in the U.S. Virgin Islands, where I'm from. I am not going to call names. This person probably might be viewing this podcast. So your secret's safe with me. But yes, I knew, and I knew better. But again, like Sunshine mentioned, it was the thrill, the excitement that really brought it over the edge, not just for me, but also for the other person. It became dangerous because I guess when I tasted that forbidden fruit, the person got, I guess, a little bit maybe too obsessed. You know, I do got a little skill here and there, but it became a little bit dangerous because I'm like, I'm not going to be a homewrecker and have you leave your family, your wife, your kids. No, that definitely wasn't me, but I did cut it off. And it was an experience. It might have been this chapter, it might have not been this chapter. You never know. But needless to say, it was something that I experienced, and it gives me the motivation, of course, for me to write what I am writing right now. So thank you, of course, so much for that very interesting question. Hopefully next week, when we start diving into the next chapter, you'll probably have a question lined up for me as well. For those of you guys that are aware, we do, of course, have merchandise always for each chapter. If this chapter resonated with you, this is available, 100% available right now on the website at www.alexanderemmanuel.com. Get yourself a t-shirt, a tote bag, whatever that you see here, it is available. Every single Sunday when we review a chapter, it will always have merchandise available for you guys. Whatever chapter that resonates with you, support it. I would love to see it, and send me those beautiful pictures once you take them. That is something that I absolutely 100% cherish of you guys doing. So I want to make sure that I celebrate that with you guys. So, whether you guys agreed with every word or disagreed with every sentence, I definitely want to thank you guys for staying in the conversation. Conversations doesn't change because everyone agrees. They change because someone was willing to listen, and that someone was you. So next Sunday, we're going to talk about dating versus divorce, and I can let you know, I'm not going to dive into it. I'm not going to tell you what it's going to be, but it is chapter D, dating versus divorce. So that is something that I want you guys to tune in. Same time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and whatever time that it is on your end. Don't forget to always stay inspired. I want to make sure that we have this on this end. This has been such an amazing time with you guys today. Don't forget, of course, to get this book. Like I said, Learning the ABCs of a Man, available on Amazon, hardcover, also the paperback, and also the e-Kindle version for you guys. All right. And add myself back, of course, onto the screen. We just wrapped up everything on this end. Again, like I mentioned from before, we definitely do have Learning the ABCs of a Man. That is volume number 1. That is going to be developed into a series. So I want to make sure that you guys have volume 1. Volume 2 is already in the development. So make sure that you guys get into that, because I can't wait for you to read volume 2. Volume 2 is going to be even more deeper than volume 1. Well, that was fun.